Bred to Win, brought to you by Arrowfield, the home of four-time champion sire Snitzel.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to Bred to Win, coming to you from here at the beautiful and historic Widden Stud. Coming up, we profile Widden's stunning new stallion Jacquino, a Golden Rose and Ore Stakes winner with a perfect Australian pedigree. Also Queensland's Grandview stud with Speedy, son of Written Tycoon, winning Rupert, following in his champion sire's hoofprints. And Widden's Billy Primer in Arrowfield Studs, Horse Who Made You Love Racing. That's all coming up, but first, the latest Aushorse news.
Racing now.
There were some smart spring-like performances at Rosehill in Sydney on Saturday, with the feature The Rosebud coming up later in the news. Trainer Chris Waller labelled the Star Thoroughbreds mare Alentia as a potential Group 1 star after her strong win over 1,200 metres. A daughter of Widden stud Zoostar, she was a Magic Millions buy for Denise Martin's Star Thoroughbreds and Brett Howard's Randwick Bloodstock from Tyrrell Stud. She's a half-sister to stakes winners Vonderbar and Malkovich. Godolphin's Pericles held off 1,000 Guineas winner Madame Pomeroy in another quality spring-like 1,400 metre event. The Group 2 Autumn Stakes winner is by Anamo's sire Street Boss from the outstanding broodmare Accessories, who's thrown 5 stakes winners, including Group 1 winning stallions Epaulette and Helmet.
Rockabilly Rebel in front from Kintyre.
The opening race for new season 3-year-olds was won by the newly gelded half-brother to Golden Slipper winner Fireburn, Kintyre. By Twin Hills Stud's Hallowed Crown, he's from the So You Think mare Mullover and races in the colours of his breeder Louis Mahika's Laurel Oak Bloodstock.
And Lakota Fire is lifting in the middle.
In Melbourne, the 3-year-old opener went to the promising Lakota Fire, a half-brother to Oakley Plate winner Shamal Wind. He's a son of Phoenix Stakes winner Sioux Nation, who only stood one season in Victoria at Swettenham Stud.
See You in Heaven in front. She's got a length on Savage to excel in Manhattan Times.
Adelaide's newly named Behemoth Stakes, formerly the Spring Stakes, and a springboard to Eastern States Group 1 success for the likes of dual winner Behemoth himself, Happy Trails, Rebel Raider and more, featured the return to stakes winning form of former Sandown Guineas winner See You in Heaven. Her dam by Anabar, Shine on Anna, has been a multiple winner producer, while her sire, the full brother to Poisier Divine Prophet, stands this season at Highview Stud in New Zealand at a fee of $13,500 NZ plus GST. On Friday night, the Scone Thoroughbred breeding community came together for the now annual cutting event, featuring the likes of Sky Racing's Ali Mosley and rugby league great and former Gay Waterhouse track rider Billy Slater competing on horseback. The winner was Sledmere Stud's Royston Murphy, with other industry identities such as Tom Magnier, Anthony Thompson, Alistair Pulford and more taking part.
Tis Invincible wide out to the instructor.
The English Graduate of the Week is the Rosebud winner Tis Invincible, a 3-year-old filly by, as you'd expect, the dual champion Australian sire I Am Invincible. She's from Amuletum, a half-sister to 9-time Group 1 winner Animo from the Redute's Choice Group 1 winning mare Animato. Tis Invincible was sold for $550,000 at the 2022 English Easter Yearling sale by Sechenho Stud to Bay and Bloodstock, Kieran Marr and Eric Lucas. Her trainer also honoured that night with the Fred Hoisted Medal for the 3rd year in a row as Victorian Trainer of the Year, along with co-trainer Dave Eustace, winning the Melbourne Metropolitan and Victoria's Trainers Premierships. Widden Starters formed a great partnership with Qatar Bloodstock and David Redfers through their association with star stallion Zoostar. Now, along with Trilogy, they're launching a new Australian stallion in Jacquino, the winner of the Golden Rose and the Ore Stakes. He has an incredibly deep Australian pedigree, and it's a pleasure to feature him on Bred to Win.
storms away. Jacquino takes the lead, comes from well back.
Jacquino flew up on the fence and got the money.
Jacquino's got through, his quality just coming up when it was needed.
Anthony, it's been a wonderful 12 months or so for Widden Stud. You've had your flag bearers such as Zougotcha, the great 3-year-old filly winning the Flight Stakes. So we filmed here as a yearling galloping around the paddocks, and the sales series, $2.6 million assisted to Sunlight Magic Millions. Easter 3 yearlings selling for $1.3 million. Zoustar, he's flying. All your stallions are doing really well.
Yeah, really exciting year for Widden. A big year. As you said, we did sell a lot of yearlings, so plenty of work, but yeah, some great results. Big thrill at the Magic Millions and lovely sales at Easter and right around the country. Crowned Australia's leading vendor on the Black Type Premiership, so that was a nice little accolade at the end of the season. And yeah, a record year for Zoustar too, cracking 15 million and over 180 winners. So some really good things happening at the farm, and yeah, a lot of highlights around Zougotcha, a lot of fun with her.
And his sire, of course, Zoustar, and also, Zousane as well. I mean, he sold well at the sales. So really, that Zoustar sort of dynasty, if you like, is set to continue.
Yeah, we're really thrilled to see so many clients get big wins off Zousane. He wasn't an expensive stallion by any means, but the way they sold was phenomenal. Went to all the top trainers, so it was great to be able to share those celebrations with so many of our clients, and see everyone who enjoyed racing Zousane had bred back to him. A lot of good breeders sort of behind and supported him, so big thrills around that, and we're really excited about those reports. So another exciting spring coming up on the track as we watch the babies emerge.
And of course, Bruckner at Widden in Victoria, he's a new sire down there for you this season, and he was featured as a stunning yearling at Blue Gum Farm before the English Premier Yearling Sale. He's just a ripper of a horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's obviously very well known to the breeders of Victoria. He's got his right home down there at Widden Victoria. He topped the Melbourne Premier sale. Stunning black horse. He's that neat, fast son of Schnitzel. He's going to be a stallion that'll throw you great sales horses, and really excited to have launching him in Victoria. I think he's right at home down there, and the response has been fabulous.
And of course, we're here to talk about Jacquino. What a wonderful son of Rubik. I mean, we'll talk about his pedigree a bit further on, but a fabulous racehorse in himself, and he looks outstanding. He looks as if he could almost go back into work, but he's just starting to realise he's the man.
Yeah, don't tell Mick Price or Michael Kent Jr. He's ready to go back into work. He's had a nice little spell, and he's excited about the spring, but it's going to be a very different spring for him. He's been very popular. We sort of put the book full sign up at 150 mares, and we've got a nice waiting list of breeders. So things are set for a big spring for Jacquino, and I'm sure we'll take a bit of that playfulness out of him come 1st of September.
What a terrific win. Jacquino won it well.
Looking at his race career, first of all, of course, Boxing Day, so pre-New Year, 2-year-old winner at Caulfield on debut, and then just his third start, he was so close in the Blue Diamond Stakes. I mean, that is the elite 2-year-old form.
Yeah, he's a precocious 2-year-old, very natural 2-year-old mix that he came to hand. He was good at his second start, no luck in the lead up to the Diamond, and what a huge run in the Diamond, to be circle the field. I think he was 8 or 10 deep on the turn. Just to storm late and just be denied by less than a length, running third in the Blue Diamond. That's a seriously nice 2-year-old colt there. He came back in the spring. Again, very impressive first time out. When you look at the way he ran away from Alf Cabin in the McNeil, that's fantastic form, and that was really frank throughout the spring.
Jacquino storming home, in secret up the fence, Jacquino wide out, Jacquino!
You saw him then come to Sydney, the big one, the Golden Rose. At the 300 metres, the afterburners come on, and he goes over the top of In Secret. Again, a dual Group 1 winning filly, and what a filly she is. Golden Mile, a Zoo Tiger. To see him pick those horses up the way he did, for us, we'd seen the horse, we liked the horse, and that's when we stepped in with a syndicate of breeders behind us and were able to buy him. So that was a huge thing to be able to talk to Lindsay Maxted and the owners. Obviously, Lindsay bred the horse. He's the chairman of Coolmorn, so there was some interesting negotiations. But we were really thrilled that they chose Widden as his future and his home, and then he rewarded us in the autumn with the big Group 1 Weight for Age win.
Gentleman Roy at the 250 from Nugget. I'm thunderstruck. Jackano is also lifting.
And for me, any 3-year-old colt that can win a Weight for Age, and do what he did, that's a sign of a serious stallion. When you look at winners of the Orr, like Redute's Choice, as a 3-year-old, I think he's the only colt going to stud this year that is a Weight for Age 3-year-old winner. So, that really puts him up there as the elite young prospect. The breeders really valued his form, and they really admire what he did on the track, and so we're really looking forward to a really big spring with him.
Of course, his sire Rubik is the sire of Yes, who was an Everest winner. He himself was less than 2 lengths off in the Everest, and that's really becoming, the elite sprint of Australia.
Yeah, Rubik's done a fantastic job. He's come up with 2 big colts in his first 2 crops, and you used to see him cracking up over 100 winners this season, and his stats across the board are really solid. It's a sire line that means a fair bit to us through that Encosta de Largo line. We love the way he's bred through Piero and Lonhro, Redute's Choice, and the really fascinating feature of his pedigree is the duplication of Shantha's Choice. So when you take a blue hen mare, such an influential mare in the Australian stud book, and you duplicate her in the pedigree as Lindsay did when he did the mating, you've really tapped into something special there. And looking at your matings, he's very good to mate. He suits a wide cross-section of mares. From our point of view, the Zoustar fillies are going to mate really well to him. Sebring. There are plenty of ways to duplicate a 3rd strain of Shantha's Choice. And yeah, there's the pillars of the pedigree. You've got so much to work with. So I've really enjoyed nutting out the matings to him, and we're supporting him with some lovely mares, and he's going to get every opportunity.
And watching him here, he really does think he's the alpha, even though he's the young guy on the block. But in front of Portland Sky, and he's sort of rearing and sort of pawing at the ground. But he's going to have, and you can see he has a good mind. He wants to do what he wants to do. Yeah,
he's a charismatic sort of horse. He's obviously a horse with a fair bit of confidence, and he's feeling very well. You can see that, but he's not going to back down. I know working with him, you don't want to have a fight with him because he's up for it, and you see him with the other stallions around. He's wanted to insert himself into the stay-in area as he deserves to be here, and he wants to be the big dog. So it's quite an interesting thing watching a colt retire and how they sort of fit into the dynamics. And he doesn't know he's a stallion yet, but I'm sure he will pretty soon, and we look forward to watching him let down and sort of change again as he gets into his workload in the spring. He's just a 3-year-old colt, but he's got lovely natural muscling. He carries himself very well. He's got a great outlook, a good blend of speed with enough scope. Lovely hind end on him, lovely depth to him, and yeah, I think he's just got a really good way about him. Obviously, he's just a natural racehorse, and you see that the way he moves. He's a horse that carries himself very well, and he was a horse, I think, that proved it on the track. He was just natural from day one, and the way he was able to really step up from there as a 3-year-old, that's everything you look for. Whether you're buying a yearling or selecting a stallion, that's sort of what people want, and I think he's got it in spades.
The blossoms now just starting to come out here. We're really early. We're not in spring yet, but it is such a wonderful time, isn't it, in this industry? Looking ahead for all that can be achieved on the racetrack and through the new foals that are arriving and so on. It's just a wonderful time to be in the Widden Valley.
Yeah, it's all about to happen the next few months, whether you're here in the valley or at the racetracks around Australia. There's so much happening, so it's a great time, and something that we live for, set for a big spring, and hopefully here and on the track. So I think we've got plenty to look forward to, that's for sure.
The G1 Goldmine analysis of Widden studs Jackano shows the son of Rubik to be a perfect match pedigree. The cross has multiple stakes winners from 1,000 metres to 2,500 metres, including SA Oaks winner Precious Lorraine. Rubik himself over sprint distances in the Scalacci Stakes and Blue Diamond Prelude, another sprinter Jigsaw, and this year's Autumn Stakes winner over 1,400 metres, Glint of Silver. Jack and O'Sire nicks best with sprint influence, elusive quality. Former champion sire Lonro and dual hemisphere influence More Than Ready, each at 20% stakes winners to runners through the likes of Condo's Express, Glint of Silver and Shades of Rose. While Bella Spree and Danehill Dancer also cross well with the now Swettenham stud-based Rubik. Jack and O's grandsire in Costa de Lago has nicked at over 33%, albeit with small numbers in Western Australia with Bletchley Park. Verglass also fared well, while it pays to seek out the blood of Jetball and his sire Masque, as well as Bertolini, Quest for Fame and Last Tycoon, to match up with that in Costa blood in Jack and O. Another great year for Widden Stud and more to come, looking at the potential of Jack and O. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win, we head to Queensland and Grandview Stud, where Winning Rupert is following the same path taken by his star sire, Written Tycoon.
Out in front is Bucanero Fuerte and Kevin Stott. They're clear.
The Cambridge Stud performance of the week came in the Irish 2-year-old Group 1, the Phoenix Stakes, won by a son of Wootton Bassett, Bucanero Fuerte. Wootton Bassett, of course, sire of their own star stallion, Almanzor. Bucanero Fuerte is a full brother to Woodard, who's back at Swettenham Stud for the spring of 2023, while Wootton Bassett returns to Coolmore, Australia. Almanzor is without doubt the best son of Wootton Bassett globally, having won the British and Irish Champion Stakes and the French Derby, and he returns to Cambridge Stud in New Zealand this year at a fee of $50,000 NZ plus GST, joining Royal Ascot winning stallion Hello Yoon Zane by Danehill's son Kodiak, Schnitzel's Group 1 winning 2-year-old Sword of State, whose first foals are arriving this season, and Savabill's 2,000 Guineas winner Embellish. It's almost deja vu for Winning Rupert, a son of Written Tycoon who sired some of his great stakes winners during his time in Queensland. Winning Rupert, the son of Written Tycoon, is now based at Grandview Stud, and he is an outstanding looking physical specimen, very much in the mould of his sire. Mark, a glorious winter's day as Queensland can turn on, and Grandview Stud, it's just wonderful seeing, you've come through winter, there's some green in the ground, obviously some frost around too, but looks as if it's been a really beautiful winter.
Yeah, it's been good. We were lucky. We had a lot of rain through summer, which gave us plenty of grass leading into winter. We do get pretty cold here in the morning, so we've had a few frosts and just started planting ryegrass, etc. for the mares to start foaling.
But Winning Rupert, he's off and gone at the 150, led by 2 lengths.
Looking at Winning Rupert, I just love this horse because we know he was Queensland bred, so it's really great to see him back up here in the state of his birth, and I'm sure plenty of Queenslanders would be happy to see him too.
That's right. A lot of people, were upset that he didn't come here to start with. When they found out last year that he was coming up here, he did get a lot of support, and he's perfect for this cutest, environment like that 1,200, 1,600 metre horse, which he's getting. That cutest money's great, and he's perfect horse for that.
It's getting good mare numbers too, but I guess with those first Queensland bred foals arriving this spring too, that's extra exciting.
It really is. Like Written Tycoon come to Queensland at a very similar time and worked with Queensland mares, so a lot of people have sort of got expectation that hang on, this horse might be the same, and he's got that bloodline, so they're all throwing those Queensland mares at him, and hopefully we can get the same sort of result. Like Capitalist and like Rupert himself were both conceived up here in Queensland.
But Samana going great guns in the hands of Dylan Gibbons.
Winning Rupert himself, you've got to look at what he's doing on the track currently. Like his offspring, Samana, Sione, you've got, horses winning at, Rose Hill and Flemington. 7 city winners within a few weeks, of course, back through June and July. Iona Merck and Passaggiata. So many horses are really flying the flag. They've kind of just stepped up recently, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been great watching. He's sort of had winners in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, as well as Adelaide. He's had winners in every major racing jurisdiction in Australia, which is great to see. And it's not just that he's doing it, in his own backyard. We had a really good start at Newgate, the horse. He got some really nice mares down there, and that's sort of given him a springboard to move on.
Winning Rupert by the 200 metres with a winning break.
It's good to remind people forget his race career, the BRC Classic, Vorogue Plate, Gold Edition Plate. He was so popular up here, as we said, even though, he was trained in Sydney by Bjorn Baker. And Bjorn said he was the fastest horse he'd ever trained. So that's great to remind people what a good 2 and 3-year-old he was too. But he actually broke the Eagle Farm 1200 metre track record as well. So this is what people need to remember. When you look at this horse now, what a great racehorse he really was.
You just watch his replays and he was just dominant in those. Like, he was unbeaten as a 2-year-old. He had 2 starts as a 2-year-old. He won both of those and then went on and got beat in the Magic Millions 3-year-old race on the back of an injury and a setback. So the horse was as very fast and dominant when he was going right.
And he always had that lovely deep liver chestnut, and he just has it here. He looks in fantastic condition. How do you handle a stallion such as him through the winter?
He's pretty easy. He's really easy to deal with. We throw a rug on him. He's locked up over night time. He's out of a day. He's stabled right next to the other stallion. They both get on well. He runs around a lot, does a bit of work. We start lunging him and that sort of thing, and just give him a little bit of work going into the breeding season because he can get a little bit fat. But yeah, he's just a lovely horse, and he's a great type and really strong horse, and he's very easy to deal with.
Strong is the key word, isn't it? I mean, he is just a ball of muscle even now. That power that he has, which you can see is going to throw that great sprint type that the Written Tycoons throw.
Yeah, that's the horse all over. Like you just all these folds. Like I've bred a few mares to him myself, and I think he throws a really nice type. They're all very similar. Big hips and just strong through the front. As
we said, Written Tycoon, he's been champion sire since he had Winning Rupert, and Winning Rupert, he had a tough time. He was in the same year as Capitalist, Flying Artie, Extreme Choice at Newgate. So he really should be getting a new lease of life up here with so many, different sort of parts of the broodmare population in Australia.
Yeah, you look at, as you said, all those horses that he went to stud at the same time. His stats are right up there with those horses. His percentages of winners to runners are as good as most of them, if not better. He's had 65 odd winners this year already, so he's doing a great job.
But Neo-Realism's got a kick. Pakistan Star trying to reach him with Werther and Blazing Speed.
Well, your other stallion, Neo-Realism, I mean, this is just bargain, isn't it? $3,300 for him by Neo Universe. So he's a grandson of Sunday Silence. He was a Group 1 winner himself, and he's the 3/4 brother to Real Impact, who we know won the Yasuda Kinnan and then the George Ryder Stakes in Sydney, and is already a successful sire in Australia and in Japan. So this stallion, it's early days for him now. He doesn't have that many runners out and about, but he's just so eye-catching, isn't he?
He's a lovely horse, and when we got him, I sort of didn't know a lot about the horse, and I went and had a look through his race record. He's a very good horse. He won over $5.5 million, Group 1 winner. And he's from a really deep family. The mare, as I said, she's produced Real Impact, and she's got she's got another stakes winner there as well. And one of her daughters is actually the mother of a horse that was champion sprinter miler in Japan. So the horse has got a huge pedigree, and I think given the right chance, he'll do a job.
Yeah. What do you expect him? As time goes on, what do you think will be his most successful types of horses he'll throw?
Looking at what we've seen, like those short square mares that we have here have really suited the horse. So it'll just be interesting to see what they're like when they get to the track, what sort of distance we get with them. On type-wise, those just short square mares really suit the horse.
And he does seem happy here too. I mean, they're lovely, those paddocks you have. They're lovely and flat, and they're firm, they're dry, they're really good for them to get out, have a bit of a run around without doing, too much, but they still get the sun on their back, the lovely Queensland sun, and they both look very, very happy.
Yeah, it's good to let them be horses and not have them locked up all the time, and just let them out and do their own thing. And being next to each other, they're mates really, and easy to deal with.
People that are sending mares to stallions, is it something that now there is more of a return with Cutis and so many different bonuses applying?
That Cutis scheme, like I think it's one of the best in the country. Like every Saturday you've got fillies racing for $82,000, and they're not stakes races, just normal everyday Saturday races, which is really great money, and it's easier than Sydney, isn't it, to be honest. So when we get those sort of money, people are willing to invest and send their mares. Like we get a lot of people that breed to race at the fees the stallions are, and they're happy to do that. And Rupert's had some really good sales results this year as well. Like he sold one for $180,000 at Classic this year. So the horse is getting the results, and with his winners that he's getting recently, we hope that continues.
And staff, I mean, are they young people? I mean, we see generational breeders, such as, whether it be the Nolans or the McAlpines, are there enough young people coming through as well? Because obviously staffing is an issue, but there seems to be a real passion from the younger generation, kids sort of up into their 20s, to want to stay involved in the breeding industry in Queensland.
Yeah, we're lucky. We've got some staff here that have been here now for several years, and we do get a lot of kids coming through that are at a local college that do apprenticeships and that sort of stuff, to come through, do traineeships and that sort of thing. Aquis have got involved with one of the schools to help out and they only do school for 4 weeks, and they're going to do training for 4 weeks. Basically, they have an internship type thing that they do, which is, there's a lot of children doing that, going through. They go through into the Gold Coast. There's plenty of kids coming through, which is leaving the industry in a great position.
Winning Rupert is in the right place at the right time. Coming up on Bred to Win, Billy Primer of the Widden nominations team in Arrowfield Studs, horse who made you love racing.
The horse that made me really fall in love with racing was a horse called Orientate. It was a horse that my brother and dad trained. My father brought it at the English Classic sale a number of years ago, very cheap, and my brother, he had a severe race fall as a jockey and he was never able to ride again, so he got in a training partnership with my dad, and their first runner as trainers won at the Warrnambool Carnival, and the old man, he'd been trying to win a race at Warrnambool for years as an owner, and first time as a trainer it was able to win, so it was a very special moment.
And, some people, even if their family's involved in racing, they don't get involved. But you really obviously enjoyed, was it the moment or the whole thing? I mean, that horse itself and the feeling of a big win, what was it that really got you?
Yeah, just the build-up to the Warrnambool Carnival, being a local, the town's really buzzing and up and about, and just to have a horse running on Cup Day as well, and the Grand Annual. Yeah, just to have a winner on the Thursday was unbelievable, and to be there with family and friends, it was just really good to experience.
When you do get involved in this industry, it can take you around the world. I mean, you've been over with David Redvers at Tween Hills. Tell us a bit about, what you did there and what you're doing now.
I got some unbelievable experiences over there, working in the stallion barn, doing yearling sales. So it was really good to go over to Europe and even look at the racing scene over there as well. And then I was given the opportunity to come to Widden Stud to join the nominations and sales team, so it's been a really good opportunity.
And there's so much that can just come from, falling in love with racing, isn't it?
That's exactly right. It's an industry that can take you anywhere around the world and meet some great people, and it's a really good industry to be involved in.
That is Bred to Win for this week. Don't miss next week's show. The speed already showing in Unite and Conquer at Kingstar Farm. That and much more next week on Bred to Win. I'm Caroline Searcy. Look forward to seeing you then.
Bred to Win, brought to you by Arrowfield, the home of 4-time champion sire Snitzel.